Welcome to the first Simile Workshop. The plan is to take 3 similes that I've been working on and try to fix them because I'm not happy with them. So number 1, those eyes combined with that attire would have threatened as surely as the glint of a razor-sharp blade. So this comparison, the glint of a razor-sharp blade, I'm worried about razor-sharp blade. It feels too cliche. I want to see if I can come up with something more creative than that. However, I do really like glint. I think glint and eyes go well together. So I need to think of other things that gleam or have a glint. And I'm going to try and put all my ideas in blue and keep them organized. I want this over. Yeah, right there. So obviously glint, we think of metal. Reflect small flashes of light. It's a fantasy setting, so we can't use any sort of electronics. If it is metal, we have to really think about what kind of metal. It's also supposed to be threatening, so a blade, I would say teeth. Teeth could have a glint. Teeth isn't bad. Depends on what kind of teeth. We can talk about the teeth to make it more interesting. It could be the teeth of a steel bear trap. Maybe not steel. That feels too modern. An iron bear trap. I like that idea of trap. I want to run with that. So I would say the arm of a primed mouse trap. Trap fits nicely here because it's a threat and this is a monetary exchange. It's they're haggling over the price of something. There is a suggestion of danger, so the trap goes really nicely with that. I also caltrops popped into my head. Caltrops are the things that, yes, I spelled that right. Someone might throw it on the ground. A ninja might throw that on the ground. Sharp spikes, that's a kind of trap. That doesn't fit as well here. It's also, we're talking about a farmer. I'm going to put a big old X. Doesn't really fit, but it's a nice idea for the future, if I can remember that. He's a farmer, so something that's on the farm. The tines of is it the tines, or maybe I'm still thinking about the teeth? The teeth of a metal rake, barely visible in the tall grass. We could also do fire. He's a farmer. Fire is his enemy. See, now I'm coming up with a lot of ideas. I'm thinking about insects. The carapace. Something like locusts or some kind of beetle that might devour crops. That's a very specific kind of threat. I'm thinking about fire. Fire destroying crops. Something about the animals. If he has a horse or several horses, something about the horseshoe. I don't know what problems you would have with a horseshoe. It gets bent, or it gets. I mean, horseshoes would be really strong. I wouldn't imagine. Maybe they get worn down. So that probably doesn't fit. The teeth in the insect carapace, those really stand out to me. The teeth of a trap feels like it fits better. Oh, I'm gonna have to blow my nose. That's not gonna be good. Fire destroying. I mean, these are all just random ideas. I want one more thing about the farm. I'm trying to think about nails, tools, something about the tools, but I feel like the danger of tools is they're not put away properly, or they are losing their edge, they're losing their sheen, they're getting rusty, so they're not glinting. So that doesn't really fit here. Trying to think about inside the house. Then my mind goes to the kitchen, knives. I'm back at blades. I'll write it down. I'll write down nails. Nails that are nails poking out of wood. I suppose you could have splinters in the floorboards. It could have a glint, but that feels like a stretch. And I'm also thinking about expanding these trap ideas with it's seen in lantern light. Too late to avoid stepping on it. It's possible that I could make the simile longer. It's not just the teeth of an iron bear trap, it's the teeth of an iron bear trap, and you're seeing it too late. You're falling into that trap. Or you're about to fall into that trap. That could pair well with these eyes. Those eyes would have threatened, but also it's supposed to be a threat. It's not a threat. It's not a threat. We think it's a threat, but it isn't. It isn't really a threat. We're setting up a contrast. They could be threatening, but they're not. We don't have the full context. I'll go to that part so we can look at it. It should be right around here. Yeah. On another day or on another person, those eyes combined with that attire would have threatened as surely as the glint of a razor-sharp blade. But the stranger seemed hungry for something other than violence. So I could change the line that follows. I don't even think we need to say stepping on here. Seen in lantern light, too late to avoid. I mean, the lantern light gives it a very specific gleam or glint. So that's a solid suggestion. That's a solid rewrite. So that would look like, let's copy and paste. No, I want everything matched up. Match up. There we go. It's still not matched up, of course. It's going to be real difficult. There we go. I want it lined up. Those eyes of a as the glint off an iron bear trap. We don't even need the T. Seen in lantern light, too late to avoid. So that's possible, or we could just say off an iron bear trap. We're talking about a grown man, so a bear trap would obviously be more threatening than a mouse trap. Mouse trap's it's gonna hurt for sure. Bear trap, that's gonna cause lasting damage. That's my sound off. Okay. Those eyes combined would have threatened as surely as the glint off an iron bear trap seen in lantern light, too late to avoid. Yeah, I'll have to experiment with both of those within the context. Decide if I want to change this sentence or not. The stranger seemed hungry for something other than violence. The word hungry doesn't feel like it fits. Primed. You prime a trap. You ready it. We could also just say ready. That way all the language matches up. Trying to decide if I want to... I do. I want to add those as a comment. I don't want to search through... I don't want to search through all my documents trying to remember, oh, where did I put that? But the strangers seem primed for... Okay. That's one. That's the general process that I use if I really want to work on a simile and I'm not inspired at the moment of writing. I'm worried I'm getting sick. I'm the only one in the family who hasn't gotten sick yet. Out of like 7 people, I'm the only one. Everybody else got a really bad chest cold. So when I'm writing and I really get going, or I don't want to slow down, I don't want to stop, similes, I don't agonize over them. I just get something down, or I put a blank, and then I'll come back and I'll do something like this. I'll just sit and brainstorm what I want it to look like. I do the same thing with names, dialogue. I just get the dialogue down as quickly as I can. And if I'm inspired that they would move in a certain way or look a certain way, have a certain tone of voice, I'll make a note of that. But generally, I want to get all the dialogue down as quickly as I can so that it feels more natural to me. I can come back later and change it if I need to. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I just kind of skip it. I just do it quickly. I just get it on there so it's there. Sometimes I don't even put a blank. I just put a little comment that, oh boy, a simile sure would fit well here. And it's really all about the mood. It's hard to explain. It's just a gut feeling. It just feels right. Okay. This should be quick. Number 2. Let's go to a new page. Let's move this one down. Lots of white space. White space is our friend. On each side of the collection sat a box. And I already had like bookends or like sentries at post. This one, I honestly don't know that I really need to do a lot with it. I just hadn't decided what I wanted it to actually be. So on each side sat a box like bookends. On each side sat a box like sentries at post. I don't even know if I'm happy with on each side. I might want to say the collection I'm thinking about sandwiching the collection two boxes sandwiched the collection like bookends. But if I'm using sandwiched, that's already an image. I'm thinking of a sandwich. I'm thinking of 2 pieces of bread. So then we don't even need any sort of simile after that. That's a strong contender because it's a simple descriptive detail. I just need to think if there's anything, if there's any reason why I want to pay special attention to that. That comes down here. Right here. I'm describing the goods that this merchant has. An odd assortment of goods had been arranged on an equally random selection of plates and mats, no two the same. I'm trying to show that this merchant, this dark shadowy figure, it's not that our main character has followed him into this alley because he thinks he's actually going to have something valuable. He's kind of looking for something that's a bit bizarre and out of the ordinary. So these items should be kind of bizarre. None of the plates or mats are the same. This guy's just throwing stuff together. I mean, I have the idea that it looked as if he'd raided a child's bedroom, a child's collection of valuables. On each side sat a box, roughly the same size. See, I have so much descriptive detail. I'm describing these boxes. They're roughly the same size. One is overflowing with lumpy sacks, the other seemingly empty. So my thought on this one is to cut the simile. And if I say two boxes sandwich the collection, roughly the same size, I don't like the order of that. I want the boxes followed by roughly the same size, one overflowing, the other seemingly empty. Yeah, I'll cut it. I'll cut that out. For now, that's better. And then the third one, the stranger seemed to have forgotten how to form words, almost as if he were melting into a bubbling ooze. I was very happy with the image of him melting into bubbling ooze. However, there are candles in the scene. So it feels like we could connect the image to those candles. But I also made some notes about that down here. Where was it? I thought it was right around here. Yes, it's oh, all right. He was no, it must be down here. Yeah, it's here. Yeah. The stranger seemed to have forgotten how to form words, almost as if. And then I had this idea, following the image of him melting into something, unlike the candles, whose wax had yet to soften in the slightest. Just reminding us that there's magic at work here. Not 100% sold on that idea. Might cut it. Feels unnecessary as I'm reading it. But the idea of wax. Oh, I touch my face too much when I'm streaming. I watch videos later, and I'm constantly touching my face. I have to stop. The stranger seemed to have forgotten how to form words, almost as if he were melting into a bubbling ooze. Okay. Change to wax from the candles. So we would say as if he were melting, almost as if he were a candle burning too bright. The wax melting into a puddle. The wax melting into, but just puddle? Burning too bright. He's trying too hard to make this sail. He's burning too bright. I could add a description to the puddle. But I'm not going to. I don't think I need it. I was also thinking of something from the farm. I'm pretty happy with the candle one, but I'll show you what I would do with it. Something on the farm. If he's going to melt, I've already used butter, so that's not going to work. Otherwise, that would be perfect. I mean, butter. Butter left out on a hot day. He doesn't have to melt. Instead of melting, he could curdle like, week-old milk or something. Is that what happens? I'd have to look it up. I'd have to look up milk. How long does it take for it to curdle? Just to keep it kind of accurate. Milk would be easy. Something else on the farm that would melt. What else would melt on a farm? Depends. Depends on what I'm describing. If I was describing that stranger as if I was focusing on the light of this stranger, the candles, the magic light, but also his energy, then I would probably talk about the sun. The sun melting below the horizon. Dripping deep reds across the half-grown corn stalks. Corn because I'm from Indiana, so that's something I can easily imagine. I'm in Korea now, so I would say rice. I mean, the rice fields have a very beautiful glow to them on certain days because you have days where they flood the rice field and it's full of water and the rice isn't that tall yet and the sun is setting, you get all this light and it reflects, or even when the sun's up in the sky, it's reflecting off that water. It's really beautiful. That's what I would do if I wanted to use something from the farm. I would just start brainstorming anything I could think of. And if I can't think of anything, I would start looking at pictures of farms. I would look at farm tools, farm barns. I would look at a farmhouse, kitchen on a farm, root cellar. I would look at icebox, anything I could think of that could melt. But this will be good. I'm going to have to put eye drops in, I think. See, I just don't know. Am I getting sick, or is it there's fine dust in the air? And the temperatures have warmed up quite a bit. And it really messes with my eyes and my nose. So right here, comment. Boom. So those were the 3 that I pulled out. There's probably more, but I'll do those later. That's the idea with the Simile Workshop. Just quickly going through and making some changes. Brainstorming, making an outline, just spitballing ideas. Coming up with some bad ones. The bad ones generally lead to good ones. I mean, I really was not sold on the idea of teeth. Because I immediately thought of monster teeth, animal teeth. And that's not what I wanted. But the trap, that's good. I hope you enjoyed that video. Look in the description down below. There's a lot more that you can find. My blog, my self-published novel. I have a stream on Twitch, and there are a lot of other YouTube videos. From the Height of a Mind, I'm Mike.